Mexico bracing for a new caravan of migrants who are set to leave Central America this month with the intent of entering the United States. The head of Mexico's immigration office is meeting with Central American government officials, and they're warning that those entering Mexico illegally this time will be deported. Joining us tonight, Congressman Andy Biggs. He will co-chair the Border Security Caucus for the 116th Congress, along with Brian Babin. And Congressman Biggs also serving on the House Judiciary Committee, the Science, Space, and Technology Committee, a member of the House Freedom Caucus. Congressman, great to have you with us. First, this caravan, another caravan. Perfect, just perfect. What in the world are... And the left continues to deny there's a crisis, that there is any issue here.
Yeah, you know, Lou, they're kind of playing a game of, are you going to believe your lying eyes, or are you going to believe what we tell you? And that's really where they are. And we have this caravan coming again because why? Because they know that this discourse is taking a damning place where we're not making progress, because Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and the Democrats, they refuse to budge on this. And they've basically said, we're not going to fight illegal immigration on the border. That's what they're saying.
Well, they're saying point blank, the rest of America can go to hell. Their constituency, illegal immigrants. Their constituency, the employers of those who exploit illegal immigrants in this country and have for 30 years. There's no mystery here. They're also blocking the president in fulfilling his last major campaign promise to the voters, which is to build that wall. And they know that if he builds that wall, if he secures that border, he will be an absolute electoral juggernaut in 2020.
Right, exactly right. And so when Lindsey Graham says, if we don't build the wall, this is our last chance to build the wall. If we don't do it,
he's exactly right.
He's exactly right. But the Democrats are playing this on the converse side. They're saying, yeah, we can't afford, they believe they can't afford to let him do it, just like you say, because to do so has a chance to restore the Republicans to credibility, because right now we are shaky on credibility, because for 2 years we didn't get this done, and that's too bad. But here we are, we're in this fight, and I'm grateful for President Trump. He's holding strong, and most of my colleagues are as well.
And to that point, are you confident that the conference in the House, which is, by the way, as you suggest, one of the most conflicted conferences in history, and I'm talking about the previous Congress, not this one yet, we'll find out. Do you think they can stand up? Is the leadership within the party more principled than the Speaker and the leadership of the previous Congress?
Well, I certainly hope so. So far, everything Kevin McCarthy is. Yeah. You know, hey, look,
I love your candor, Congressman.
Okay?
I absolutely do.
Yeah, me too. Kevin has said the right things. He's been there. I think he's committed. I know he introduced a bill like I did to build the wall and fund the wall. So I think Kevin is there on the policy. And I think for the most part, we lost 8 people to a vote yesterday. But I think that's probably the extent of the people who are weakening. I think,
and in 2 votes today, 10, and in another 12 who crossed over with those three bills with 4 to go. I haven't checked to see if there's been another vote, but that's not significant at this point. Would you agree?
I'd agree with that. I think we still have the high ground. I think let's just be honest. The optics of everything that's gone on this week is in favor of the Republicans and President Trump. He is just. He's played this masterfully, and not that he's playing a game, but that he understands how you negotiate with people who don't want to negotiate. Sometimes you got to walk away. Sometimes you walk away from people who don't want to have a good faith negotiation. And so I think
when you're dealing with national security, Congressman, if I may, I hope you would agree with me. Sometimes you don't negotiate at all, because what is at stake here, as you know better than almost anyone on Capitol Hill, is the sovereignty of the nation and the security of that border. And without it, as the president reminds all Americans all the time, without those borders, we are not a nation.
He's exactly right. And I think that most of my colleagues are right there and willing to go the distance. And so I've been real pleased with the effort of the leadership on this issue, as well as my colleagues. There's some that are a little bit softer. I don't understand why, because for me, this is really the keynote issue of our time. It really is.
Will you unequivocally support the president if he chooses to declare a national emergency on that border?
Yes, yes. I've studied it. I went through, read the statutes again.
Will your colleagues?
Oh, well, that's where it gets a little dicey. That's where it gets a little dicey. I would hope so. I would hope so because...
Well, I would too, but I'd like to have more reassurance that I hope so.
Yeah,
but you're being straightforward, and I appreciate that as well.
Yeah, I'm going to always tell you the truth the way I see it. And I think a significant majority would be willing to stand and fight. But if he declared, I think the president wants to. We all want to get to a legislative solution. If the other side's not going to
I got to be
negotiate,
honest, we got to solve it. I don't think we got time for a legislative solution. I've seen what Republicans do. I'm a little tired of their efforts, to be candid with you.
I don't think it's going to happen, Lou. I think it's going to emergency.
Well, I think so too. Congressman, appreciate it. Congressman Andy Biggs, good to see you.